Hello valued viewers, I hope you're all doing very well. It's a wonderful time to be alive because of course it's not long now until the F-4E is released in DCS. Heapler have given us a slightly early access preview version, which is wonderful and much appreciated. So now that we've got this preview version, we need to decide what to do with it. I figured this time round, rather than making a kind of scripted, streamlined video, we would make a large, expansive, but non-formal video looking at the various functions, the various weapons it can carry, the graphics, the sound, what it's like to fly, and so on. So a kind of all-encompassing video of it at this stage. We'll split the video up into chapters or sections, and if you want to skip to a certain section, you'll see that in the video description. So first, guys, I would like to start in Mission Editor. The version we have is the F-4E-45MC, a late subvariant of the E variant. The E variant first flew in 1965 and entered service with the US Air Force in 1967. It brought several new features, like it was the first variant to have a full-time internal cannon. Of course, the Phantom was famous for the early versions not having a standard internal cannon, which of course caused problems in the Vietnam War, and so the E model remedied that. Also, the E model introduced a better radar. Also, the late subvariant of the E model was the first to come with maneuvering slats. As you can see here, reduced top speed but increased overall maneuverability. So let's get stuck in the nitty gritty. We can see here that she can have up to 12,000 pounds of fuel internal. She cannot have chaff or flare as standard. They are modular extras. Her gun is a 20mm M61 Vulcan cannon in or just below the nose there, with that type of ammo. If I scoot there, you can see some extra options we have here, and it's important to say that this is of course a pre-release preview. It may differ slightly to the actual release version. As standard, the aircraft comes with a whole bunch of different coalition or country liveries. Let's have a quick blast through them. It's going to take quite a while, this video, so feel free to skip to whichever chapter you want. We start with the US Air Force. We then go down to Egyptian Air Force, Hellenic Air Force. Of course, this was an extremely successful aircraft and served with many countries for a huge service life. Israeli Air Force, Imperial Iranian Air Force, so the old Iranian Air Force, later Iranian Air Force, the Royal Australian Air Force. I did get it right. It's the kangaroo that gives it away, Iron Wolf. ROCAV, guys, it is, oh my goodness, have I forgotten? Korea? South Korea, isn't it?
Republic of Korea Air Force.
There you go. Oh wow, look at that one. Right, we're on to TUAF Turkey, with a lovely livery there. US Air Force, of course. Never did a shark mouth suit an aircraft so much, guys. Thunderbirds, whole bunch of Thunderbirds. Oh wow, look at that. Oh, we're on Japanese now. Wow, they really paint their aircraft, guys. Look at that. Oh, I think that's got to be my favourite. German Luftwaffe. Fictional. British, of course, we did run. Not the E, but other variants with different engines. I think that's our lot. Next, viewers, we're going to go on to weapons, and I'm a big Phantom noob. I really didn't know it was going to come with so many weapons. I don't mean so many stations here, but I mean such a variety of weapons. It's going to be really a challenge learning to use all this weapons. Let's go station by station and see what we've got. First of all, as I said, we do not have integrated or internal countermeasures. You have a modular podded system, and you can have the ALE40 with these combinations of chaff and flare. So if I put them on, you can see them aft of this station or pylon here. And if you tried one with flares, you can see the flares there. Then let's go outwards to inward, shall we? So stations 1 and 9, we can start with air-to-ground missiles. We can have the AGM-12C ball pop, MC loss. So that's manual command line of sight. So what that means, obviously, is the missile will fire and it will be rocket propelled. It will have visual flares out the back, and the aircrew will guide it in manually by looking at it and using a joystick to control where it hits. It's a really cool piece of technology. I mean, it's old. I mean, this type of tech, I guess, was in the Second World War with the Fritz X and whatnot. But it's going to be real fun using that. Anti-radiation, we have the AGM-45A Shrike. Shrike has been in DCS for a while, but this is the first time in a core game that we've been able to fire it. It's, if you like, a predecessor to the HARM missile that we also have with much less capability. It had lots of problems, like, for instance, if you fired it and the radar you were attacking turned off, then it would lose track. It didn't have a redundant way of getting to the target like the more modern HARMs and whatnot did, so that should be interesting using that. If we go to bombs, we might as well just take our time, viewers, because we've got the chance to do it. So we're going to have 1 or 2 Mark 83 1,000-pound low drag bombs. We could have 3 CBU 52s, relatively old cluster bomb units, anti-infantry pretty much. You can see all the information you need here. 220 bomblets, high explosive frag on a MERB converter adapter. Or we could have 3 CBU 87s, which I'm sure you're used to in DCS, a combined effect munition, so anti-infantry and light armor. We can have older bombs, M117, 750 pound. We can have a whole series of training stuff here that I'm not too interested in. We can have, amazingly, racks of 6 bombs, Mark 81, 250 pound, Mark 82, and the Mark 82s can be slick or air retarded or snake eye retard type. Training laser guided bomb, single CBU 52, single CBU 87, laser guided bombs, 2,000 pound, 500 pound, I'm sure you're used to. Interestingly, this aircraft can have a targeting pod and can laze its own bombs onto target. More modern laser guided bombs, Paveway 3 type, of course, that we have in a Hornet and whatnot in DCS, 2,000 pound. We have, and now this is a really interesting one. This is my era of absolute love. A GBU 8, so Guided Bomb Unit 8, Hobos or Hobos 2,000 pound TV guided bomb. So what this is a Mark 84 2,000 pound bomb. You can see that there with, if you like, a kind of JDAM style or a conversion style guidance kit added. We've got a front unit here and a tail unit here, and of course it's TV guided, and we will guide it from a display in our aircraft to the target, a bit like the Walleye, which we obviously have. So that's going to be super fun. Mark 84, 2,000 pound, plus we have a retarded version of it, and we have target marker flares. Fuel tanks, 370 gallon, so pretty big. Sergeant Fletcher, obviously the guy who invented or designed it. Pods, very interesting. Didn't know it had any of this. So these are not rocket pods, they are backwards pods. They are dispensing units, and they will, you'll fly over the target and dispense hundreds of bomblets onto a target. Again, all the information is here. You can have a CBU 1 or 2, so cluster bomb unit 1 or 2, A or AA or B or whatnot. These are the size of the submunitions. These are the quantity of the submunitions, so up to 513, which is amazing. That is going to crash some servers, viewers. And we've got target marker flares. And we have here an M61 throwback. Here it's a pod, an M61 Vulcan cannon with ammo. Of course, it just goes back to the older variants that didn't have the gun, started getting in trouble with dogfights with MiGs, and had to have a belly-mounted or wing-mounted cannon there. Right, then we move to rockets, all stuff we've seen before. We've got Lao 3 2.75-inch rocket pods in a trio or a single with those types of warheads. Then we've got the inner wing stations. That's this station and pylon here, and this one's quite complex and cool. So you've got the main pylon there, then you've got two air-to-air or sidewinder stations there and there, but also you can have air-to-ground munitions off the bottom in various combinations. So this is why don't we start with the sidewinders? So 8 right, 8 left, 2 right, 2 left. Various sidewinders over the ages. Of course, this aircraft spanned decades, so we're all the way back to the 50s with the B variant. This would have been used in Vietnam, early part of. Julie was Spanish, I think, guys. I think it was Spanish. Lima, late 70s, I think. I can't remember, somewhere near 1990. P3, and P5, and a captive for training. Then in the air-to-ground section of the station, some air-to-ground missiles. Some we've seen before and some haven't. Now, some of them have special weapon adapter written. Those are the ones that can also have the sidewinders on the station. The ones without special weapon adapters cannot have the sidewinders also because they're too big or heavy or whatever. With the special weapon adapter, we can have the Shrike, or we can have 3 variants of the Maverick. So the small warhead variants. We've got the very early A, TV guided, B, TV guided. We also have a D later, and this is the IR. Or if you're not going to have the sidewinders, you can have 2 of what we just talked about, the Mavericks. Or we can have the bullpups, and we've got, shown here at least, 3 different variants, A, B, and C. Has anyone got the information on the differences between them?
A has a 250-pound warhead with solid fuel. B has the 250-pound warhead with liquid fuel, which gives it more range. C actually has a 1,000-pound warhead and liquid fuel that gives it an even longer range somehow.
We've got a Shrike on its own, and we've got single Mavericks, and we've got the Maverick, of course, with the big warhead, the Golf model, which we're, again, used to in DCS. Also on them, we can have bombs. I'm just going to try and look at things that are different, or really different than we care about. We've got a Rockeye here, so a more modern cluster munition with 247 bomblets, high explosive, anti-tank, although I've never managed to take a tank out with them, but we've got normal bombs. Here's something of interest, a special weapon adapter with, look at this, let me just arm this up for the lols. Look at that for a station, absolute Terminator. 2 sidewinders and 3 anti-runway penetration Durandal bombs. We've got to learn how to use all of this as well, viewers, so it's going to be a long time learning how to do this. Stuff we've seen before, guided bomb units, cluster bomb units of different types and different quantities. Aha! We have the beloved AGM-62 Walleye, viewers. So similar in design and operation, shall we say, to the GBU-8 Hobos, in that it is a bomb, so it's not powered, but it's guided by a TV sensor here, which is of course driven by the air crew. We have who's got the warhead or the type differences, please, in Walleye 1 and Walleye 2.
The smaller one has a 1,000-pound warhead, and the 2 has a 2,000-pound warhead.
Other stuff we've seen before, Paveway 3, and we can have Hobos again. Next, we can have pods, and our first jammer, electronic countermeasure pod today, ALQ-131, which of course we know in DCS. We've got rockets, as we saw before, but more options. We can have a Lao 68 as well as Lao 3, but firing 2.75-inch rockets with various warheads, and we can slam a load on there. Let me try and find a 3-pack. Bam! Look at that. Next, we move on to the stations here, and here. That is 7, 6, 4, and 3. On each, we can have a single semi-active radar homing missile. Of course, it's the Sparrow. E, E2, both of which had a bit of a checkered past, F, and 1980s M model. Additionally, Station 4 can have a targeting pod and a jammer pod. Jammer here, or a PAVE Spike, an AN AVQ-23 targeting pod, so I guess a predecessor to the other types of targeting pods we're used to. In DCS, 2 variants of them, we don't really know the difference between them yet. Put that on there, and of course that is used by the air crew to find targets and guide weapons in. Where next? I think we've just got the center station. Yeah, we've just got the center station here, which again can have a plethora of weapons. The great thing about the center station is it can take really heavy weight. So you can have like this. 4 CBU-87s. I mean, just the shocking the amount of bomb truck capability this thing has. 6 Durandal. Look at that. Oh, I've just spotted an even bigger one. This is a game in its own, just finding how heavily armed you can... Look at that. 6 Rockeye. Oh, they're a bit close to each other. But otherwise, the same types we've seen before. Fuel tank, a giant 600-gallon Fletcher. Pods, we've got the dispensers that we saw before. They're going to be fun using those. And rockets, the same stuff we've seen before. So what a loadout of really interesting era, multi-era weapons. It's going to be really fun learning how to use this lot. Welcome in, viewers. We are now in the cockpit. Of course, this is a multi-crew, 2-aircrew aircraft. We can either be in the front cockpit here, or we can be in the rear cockpit by pressing 2 on our keyboard. I want to make something very clear at this point, viewers. I don't want any ambiguity. This is not a tutorial. I'm not here to tell you how to fly the aircraft. Why? Because I don't know myself. I've just downloaded it myself. It's got a nearly 1,000 page manual. We'll need time to actually figure out how to fly this. I'm just looking at the absolute basics today, guys. Obviously, the front seat is the pilot, and his main objective is to fly the aircraft. The rear seat is the Wizzo, Weapons System Officer. He will set up / control weapons, and he also controls the radar. And he also, unlike the F-14 Tomcat, which is a really interesting question to you guys, but he can fly the plane. Like the F-15E. As well as that, they will liaise with each other, the front and the rear aircrew, to do various things, air to air, air to ground. So there'll be lots of liaising between the 2 aircrew for this aircraft. Obviously, it can be flown in multiplayer with a human in the front and a human in the back, or it can be done on single player, and that's probably what most of you will do, with a human in one seat and AI Jester in the other seat. I'm sure you're used to it from the F-14 Tomcat, and it's a very similar system. So to access the Jester menu, just the very obvious stuff, you need Jester UI Action, and if you want to backtrack, you have Jester UI Back. I will press the action, and of course you get this guy that's familiar from the F-14, and you can do various things with it. So I'm in the front seat as the pilot, talking to Jester as the Wizzo, and we'll blast through this very quickly just for fun, really. We can talk to the crew chief. We highlight it. I'm driving it with my track IR, just like the Tomcat, and I press the action command on whatever I want. And you can see there's various stuff here, and this will mainly be used for starting up the aircraft, which at the moment we have no idea how to use. We can backtrack there. We can do crew contract. We can discuss our contract with our AI Jester. His presence, so that's essentially whether we want him turned on or off or automatic. We've also got his talking. Do we want to tell him to shut the heck up, or he can talk? Ejection stuff and countermeasure dispensing, whether you want that manual or to be AI controlled. Systems, chaff, countermeasure options, jettison, our jamming. Next, let's have a look in navigation, all stuff you'll be used to. So, like with the Tomcat, Jester is going to do navigation for us, and we can ask him to navigate to a certain point, and the usual stuff we're used to, including TACAN, and we'll have lots of air-to-ground options. As we said, we will be liaising between aircrew a lot for especially air-to-ground or weaponeering in general, and navigation and radar. Radar, just like the Tomcat, we've got to tell AI what to do, how we want it to operate. IFF, because that will need to be done manually, essentially. The scan elevation of the radar, the scan type, whether we want to focus on the target, whether we want to lock a target, and I look forward to learning all about that as well. What have we missed? Just radio stuff, obviously, for choosing channels and setting the radios up. And to get out, you push and hold the action button. Boof. We have one more thing to add of interest, actually, on that, viewers. I should say that I myself have not used F4 yet. I just downloaded it, but some of the other guys are, of course, beta testers and have been flying this for some time. Simba wanted to add something about the crew contract here and the Jester presence.
Yeah, so this is like anybody that's flown a lot in the F-14, they know like if somebody jumps in the back seat and then gets a disconnect, like Jester goes away, and then you're not able to get Jester back. So what this does is this allows when somebody jumps in your back seat, you can disable Jester, and then if that person disconnects or hops out of your back seat, you can re-enable Jester so that you still have that functionality.
Next, of course, like other aircraft in DCS, we have the Kneeboard. Right shift and kilo will toggle it on and off, and we can cycle through the different pages with the buttons that, of course, you can set and adjust controls. And I just wanted to show this because there's all sorts of useful stuff here, like startup procedures and before taxi and before takeoff and normal takeoff and blah, 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 blah. It goes on forever. Bombing tables and all sorts of useful stuff. I'm going to turn that off now, but don't forget that's there. It may save some time later on. Next, bombing table. So, recently I found out that the bombing in this aircraft is very manual, very hands-on, shall we say, unlike something like a Hornet or an F-16 where the computer will do basically all of the work for you. It's very manual in this, and it's probably going to be very difficult. We have a dynamic bombing table. If I were to press right control and bravo on the keyboard, right control and bravo on the keyboard, up comes my bombing table. Obviously, these pre-calculated bombing tables would, in real life, be rehearsed by the pilots, and they would have a selection they can choose from, but we have a dynamic option here where we can say we want to, instance, do this type of delivery, we want to drop that type of bomb, we want to run in at that speed there, I want to release at that altitude there, the target's at that altitude there, and so on. This is not a tutorial, but and it will calculate what we need to set our sight depression at, also our pattern and information we need to feed to Jester here, so he can set his end of the bargain up, and we can save preset solutions as well. So that's brilliant, because it's so hard learning bombing tables if you fly multiple aircraft. Well, actually I would say it's probably basically impossible, so this makes that much more accessible, so I'm chuffed about that. Next, and an even better feature, viewers, manuals. So if you want to learn to fly properly, really properly, reading the manual is the best way. The next best is YouTube tutorials, and the next best is getting your mate to tell you, I suppose. But the manual is really, really, really good. And we have it not just in our computer hard disks like we've always had, but we now have it dynamically here. So if I were to press right alt and mic, ping, we now have the manual. It's enormous on this aircraft. It's 900 and something pages at the moment. We went back to our homepage here. You can obviously click on your main options here, and you can open it up here, and I'm sure you can go and figure out exactly how to do that. You have search, and you can search for certain things. Now, it's quite hard to read being in a small guy here, and so for me, I will still use the manual on my second monitor because I have two monitors next to each other. But if you use VR and you can't really use a second monitor, this is a lifesaver. Or if you just have one single monitor, this is a lifesaver. So a lovely feature again that's made it a lot more accessible. You can have a play around that. It's got some great features. Another lovely feature is the kind of helper function. So if I were to press and hold M, mic, and click on a switch, and let's face it, there are a million switches here. Let's do that one there. Press. Look at that. It goes to the manual. That area where it tells you about that option. I mean, you after doing 1,300 tutorials, you don't want to know how much time that would have saved me if I had that. I mean, that's brilliant. Really, really good stuff. And then I need to remember how to get rid of that. So it's right alt and mic to get rid of it. Pop. Yeah, great features. And sticking on the topic of cool features, viewers, grease pen. We now have a grease pen, of all things. So, if I were to move my cursor here, you can see over to this point here on the canopy, pip, I have a grease pen. I can draw, if I open that up, stuff on the side of the canopy. So I draw it in here by left mouse click. There you go. Whee! It's one of those signs that, look, it's now on the side of the canopy. And another one there, and another one there. And then I delete it with right click, and of course I've got options and stuff. I've never understood this idea of grease pen, but can someone have a go at explaining why, or in real life, that would be a thing?
So you would use it to like maybe lock down certain radio frequencies that you didn't get on your knee pad. You know, you could put stuff on the side of the window there to help you have a memory solution. Also, I guess you could use it as like a sight targeting option. So if you and the Wizzo were both looking at on the ground at some certain object, you could draw a circle around it, and then if the Wizzo was to spot something, he would say like, oh, it's just left of my circle. You would have a same visual reference too.
I was definitely listening and not messing around. Obviously, I'm going to abuse that massively, viewers, but that's a really cool function. I'm glad they did that. Right, viewers, we're onto the part of the video where we look at graphics, and The guys who made this also made the Vegan and the Tomcat, which are brilliant, and of course, as you guessed, this is brilliant. But that's not enough. I need to prove it to you. So first, we're going to look at the cockpits. The best way I can do this is to shut my fat mouth, viewers, and just look at it. One important thing is there are so many controls in this. Look, if you scoot down like this, you just open up a whole new realm of controls hidden here. Learning to fly this is going to be quite something. So guys, as I wave my head slowly over the cockpits, feel free to point out anything of interest that you want. Obviously, I'm brand new to this, so I don't know any of these buttons yet. Up onto the instrument panel. One thing I know is the scope is so small, guys. I mean, you've got a relatively big radar on this, but a tiny, tiny display. It's so different to the Tomcat, which was just a few years later, really.
I'm impressed with the glass effect that they have on that radar scope. Like, if you kind of lean in and go to the side, you can actually see glass, or what appears to be the glass.
Yeah, and they added that recently to the Vegan, I believe, so I guess it's something they've been working on, but yeah, very nice. I'm aware I've got my sounds turned off, viewers. Of course, I will add them on soon when we get to the sound portion. ABO. One slightly concerning feature about this aircraft is it's got a big, thick ABO, which is going to make visibility a bit of a swine, I imagine. Yeah, and look at this kind of ugly elephant trunking. Simba, you've got a story about this.
Yeah, so this silicon tape that you can see that they're using to wrap is a M1 product that was heavily used on this model aircraft, the F4. So even today, this tape is called F4 tape. It's marketed as F4 tape. Everybody knows it as F4 tape. But yeah, that's where it gets the name F4 tape, is because of this airplane.
Alright guys, there's Bosch through to the rear, pip, and let's just repeat the process because it's, again, just the best way for you to see. One thing I note again, the scope is so small, guys. You got to, so the Wizzo in the back here has got to look through this tiny little thing and try and work out what's going on ahead. That is really quite a, that's going to be interesting learning that.
I mean, we are talking about a repeating television screen designed in the 60s.
Mm-hmm. Yarp.
Good old cathode ray
tubes. They never went wrong. Oh, wait. It really is never-ending, viewers. Doing the cockpit familiarization is going to be quite a swine on this. Again, visibility in the rear is, well, let's call it non-existent, shall we? Simba's going to have fun flying me around in this and not being able to see anything. Oh, hello. Hello, me. That's it, guys. If you want my opinion for what it matters, it's pretty much perfect, isn't it? I mean, I don't know what to say, really. I mean,
Are you telling them they didn't have HUD repeaters back in the 70s?
I believe there's no HUD repeaters here, Simba. And this is going to be in here, which will be interesting. It's kind of very matty and kind of dull, but that's obviously just because that's how the real cockpit is on the real plane, viewers. Next, viewers, exterior graphics. We'll keep the sounds off for the time being. Some people don't like big roaring engines yet. We'll turn them on in a bit. Right, so how good are the graphics? Well, if the Tomcat and the Vegan are anything to go by, almost certainly extremely good. The developers of these modules have a very tight line to walk. They can make them infinitely detailed, but if you make them too detailed, then the performance suffers. So they have to balance it, and I get the feeling they've got a good balance here.
I really like the rippling effect that they have there on the side of the airplane, where the skin kind of has to adjust to the airframe over time.
Yeah. And we went to see Duxford. We went to see a B-52 the other day, and that was so rippled. It looks like it was crunching like a can.
Ooh, look at the detail there on the inlet there for the little like a sieve.
Yeah, viewers, if you remember why that's there, it's something in the boundary layer. I've forgotten why, but let me know why those holes are there. I've forgotten. Right, one thing I didn't spot, the leading edge slats are not just on the side or the outer sections, they're also halfway on the inner sections. And look how far they stand up. Huge stand up there. Alright, and let's have a look at some other control surfaces. So we've got, look at that. So we've got an aileron, that's an aileron, guys. Now what's that called? That's spoiler, isn't it, guys?
Yeah, it's a spoileron.
Spoiler on, right. Look at that, how you have both. How interesting. Some very, very clever people in the comments will probably tell me why you would have both, but that's it. We've got flaps, which I may not be able to move on the ground. I don't think I can, so we'll leave them. Gear. The gear are nice and wide apart, so that reassures me this might be moderately controllable on the ground. More of that kind of ripple effect. And the nozzles for the J79 turbofans, which at the time I guess were super powerful, but by today's standards they're pretty puny, I guess. They're very loud though, viewers. I used to love the Phantoms at air shows. Horizontal stabs with an interesting feature on the leading edge. Anyone know about that?
Yes. So due to the design of the F-4, it would struggle at times to get airflow over the stabilizers.
Yeah.
So it has that to break up the airflow and help it kind of grab that air and turn.
And aerodynamically, this whole airframe had a checkered path as well. Hence, they had to do the angling of the wing and the angling of the rear stabs. But again, I'm not smart enough to understand or tell you why that is. And I guess most importantly, smiley face. It's a happy aeroplane. It's got to be on purpose. It's got to be on purpose, guys. Hook, of course. This is not a naval variant, but it could use a hook for emergency landings. Alright, guys. Are there any other bits you guys want me to focus in on before we go and look at sounds? Welcome back, viewers. If you can hear me, I've now turned the sounds back on, and one thing you can tell is this is a noisy, noisy plane. So today, so now we're going to look at the sounds in the cockpit. Of course, there's going to be all sorts of, you know, as you can hear, knobs and stuff. I don't want to break the aeroplane, so all good as you can expect. Next, I'm going to try the engine. Wow, I just turned something off by accident. I knew I would have broken something. I've turned the engine off. Well done, Supercap. Don't worry, we'll definitely cut that out. The one knob I had to press. Right, take two. Let's listen to some serious engine sounds. Very nice. That's pretty cool. Notoriously smoky aircraft, viewers, and there was actually a variant created without the smoke, although that was, I think it was the last one, but the vast majority were very smoky aircraft. I've got Semba in the preview version, I've got Bird in the preview version. Hello, boys.
Hello.
Hello.
Simba has had a couple of flights, or a few flights. I've had one very small flight, so I'm a massive noob. And Bird has literally just installed it, so he's not even got his controls set up properly. So this should be interesting. Simba, when you're ready, please take us up. I'm going to do some low fly, I guess, to begin. Oh, he's already gone. Right. You're going to have to keep us informed of what you're doing and what we should do, because obviously we're massive
only use
nutcase.
You're too
Only
fast.
put small rudder inputs in to keep yourself on the center line.
Roger.
Are you out of your goddamn mind?
116 rotating.
Off the peg.
I'm going to have to shut my guy up, I think. It's driving me nuts already. Cap gear up.
Gears moving.
Cap flaps up.
Gear
Alright, out of the cans.
Bird has my flaps up.
Yep, all looks good.
Alright, smoky. Well, I'm not going to lose you at least, Simba. You are very smoky. I had some returns off the radar a minute ago, but they've gone. Was that the ground?
Yep.
Right, Simba, let's do some low flying first of all. Let's get 50 feet. So far, everything feels, I don't know, just nice and normal. But we haven't really pushed her yet. Yeah, loads of ground returns. Look at that, viewers.
Heads up, nails 5 o'clock.
I can hear a thumping. I wonder if that's the engine's about to stall or something. Actually, probably not, is it?
Probably you going in and out of burner.
Roger. Yes, it is. Exactly that. Simba, have you had a play with the radar yet?
I have.
Is it a massive pain to use? What's it like?
Actually, not too bad. Well, I mean, if you're sitting in the window spot, it's not too bad. You move the joystick around. You got 2 different trigger pulls, and it kind of just does as advertised.
So far, she's moving great. I know we've not really pushed her seriously, but have you managed to snap your wings? Or oh my God, you managed to snap your rings or anything yet?
Nope. But there's a flat.
There's a flat spin. Wow, look at that. Was that on purpose? Eject, man, eject. Oh, he almost saved it. He almost saved it. Look at that. Oh, Simba. How did you do it? Just too much alpha.
Yeah, high control and some rudder.
And that wasn't scripted, but that's exactly the kind of thing what we're expecting, viewers, because this is notoriously hard to fly aeroplane. I think it's the right way to say it. It was known by its pilots lovingly as the flying brick by the Americans, or the lead-nosed diesel fighter by the British.
I'm allowed to get another one, right?
Yeah, you do whatever you want. Yeah.
Target is a buddy. Good IFF.
The visibility is going to be hard, at least around the HUD area. It's very small. I find it a little bit dark actually, but it may just need to change my settings a bit. I've lost you, Bird. Where did you go?
Headed back towards the airfield, low level.
Let's pick Simba up and then let's head into the mountains and do a little trail. So far, I'm actually a fan. I've not done anything weird yet, and everything's going all right. Right, we're here, Simba. You take off, we'll pick you up. Bird, take us into the mountains, not too fast, please. Let's go nice and sexy low.
Roger, just flying over Simba now, and we'll go to the mountains. Gonna hug this coastline here, and then we'll find a fjord.
Oh, I just merged with Simba. I love all the vapor stuff under G. That's pretty well done. It seems to be more detailed than normal. My slats moving in and out. Look at that. See that, viewers? Look at that. You see all the little bits? Sorry, guys. I've had to go solo for a minute. I've just found some really cool little vapor trails on the little dorsal antennae. Oh, I've done possibly the worst thing I could do. Oh, I'm in real trouble now. I'm in real trouble. Right. Why didn't they give it ventral fins? Yes. Lead nose diesel fighter always goes down nose first, viewers. Recovered. And I get to see my lovely vortices. Right, sorry about that, viewers. Sorry about that, guys. I must have got a little bit carried away. Where did you guys get to?
I got visual on you.
I'm just addicted to the vapor trails. I can't stop vapor trailing. Look at that. Oh, we just got a sonic artifact. I don't know the words. They're so hard. I just went through a certain speed. Oh my god. Something weird happened. I think I hit some sort of speed or something. It just started diving down. I wonder if that was MacTuck.
Ooh, someone became some fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bird. We go back to build the pick.
Yep. Well, no one said it was supposed to be easy to fly, guys.
Shit, you're too
Leave
fast.
people themselves did.
And the CEO will bust their balls for that.
There's a learning curve.
Are you out of your
It is a learning
goddamn
curve.
mind? Engine's good. Airspeed's coming alive. And, oh, nails. Heads up. I've got
Airborne.
nails. 11 o'clock. Gear's moving. 11 o'clock. Blast up.
Picking one of your radars up.
Gear up.
And you guys
just
see me?
above the mountains, heading back towards the base.
Roger. Must resist urge to do vapor trails. I actually like it. I get the feeling it's going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm going to try high G a really fast turn and try and get 9G out of her. Hang on.
Yeah.
500 knots and let's go. Anyone seen the G meter? Nice progressive G model. That's nice.
Traffic at our 6 o'clock.
I think I got to 9G. That was fine. It didn't stall. I'm going to try a minimum radius turn, whatever that is in this plane. I don't know. Oh, she's fighting me. Okay, I found angle of attack. It reminds me a bit of the Vigan to fly, actually, guys. Oh, my baby's just arrived. Hello, baby. I'll report back in a minute.
Did you give it any half flap on that mid radius?
I didn't know. I'm just going au naturel, Simba. RWR's good. Right, guys, I'm going for a zoom climb.
Maybe, Cap, you can try to catch that mark cone.
There, I saw it there. It's as I go through 640 knots. Right, I'm going up. And snap the wings off. I think the wings bend as well under G. Oh, fighter.
Oh, but we are stopping now.
Nah, we're fine.
Maybe.
Was that you, Bird, or Simba?
Oh, Jester left me.
What a friggin' noob. Alright, guys. I'm 100% out of time, so we better go for a formation landing real quick. Find your way back to Bodo. God knows where it is now.
Yeah, I don't know what maneuver we did, but I've got a caution light about inertial nav system out.
Sure. Don't worry about it. I've also got a master caution. Viewers, unfortunately, we're very time constrained today. We'll try and have a look at it again tomorrow. But I had great fun there. I had great fun, and I didn't manage to get into a stall, into a spin, which makes me quite happy. Simba, are you good to lead?
Yeah. Are you crossing over Moto right now?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right, I am 6 o'clock low on you.
All right, let's go.
Just ask me how's my fuel. Are we good? Yeah, I don't know.
Any idea how fast we're going to land this?
So we'll approach around 170 and hopefully touch down around 150. That'd be the idea.
Wow. All right.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go gear down, flaps down.
Gear down, flaps down. I haven't found the air brake yet, so I'm going to have to use some serious aero braking. Woo!
Its silhouette looks so great.
Uh-huh. That is what we call a classic shape fly.
And gear flat pressure.
I feel like I'm in a Jeep with one of those bikini bra tops on. Like, I've got the top, but there's no top behind me.
You ain't lying, your wizard really has left, Simba. What did you do to scare him?
Compressor stalled at 34,000 feet.
Nothing wrong with that. Alright, well he's gonna be seriously embarrassed when we get back home.
I mean, I'm not going to go to the Loadout to go pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
1,000.
If you get a chance, can you look right and just check if my gears is here? You might not see me actually.
It is. I see it.
Are you here, Bird?
I'm trying not to stall out of the sky, Richard. Right.
Sure. Right, don't wheel brake, whatever you do, Simba.
100.
And tell me when you cut.
Job and throttle.
Right, say when
I
parachute.
always wanted to be a few inches shorter.
You parachute, then I'll put.
I'm done. Not bad for first flight, guys. And Bird, you made it all the way. I didn't think you died once.
Not yet.
Huh. Alright, as we've been kindly leased these preview copies, we probably shouldn't smash them up. But that was good, and obviously you can't really tell anything empirical after just 3 minutes or whatever that was with flying, but I actually thoroughly enjoyed that, and it felt weighty. It felt probably like an F-4 would do, so I'm super happy with it. Any final comments from you guys before we sign off?
Very important. I really think people have done a great job, and it's well worth the wait.
Right, viewers, go and get yourself a freaking F4. I hope you enjoyed that, and bye-bye.
Wait for damage model.
Yeah, she's a handful.
Yeah, she's a handful. But we all like a handful.
No one said it will be easy.
Go, my F4. Fly. You're good.